So it looks like we're probably live. I can see the view counter coming up. So for the intro, this is the Saturday live stream that I've been doing for a while now. And so a lot of people are coming in from my my trending 37-year-old broke loser video. So that, just as a disclaimer, the purpose of these live streams is for my long-term audience, my Linux tech enthusiasts. This is a series installment. This is the latest installment of a series I've been doing, just live streaming until I get 2 to the X Superchat donations. I actually thought this would end quite a while ago. So tonight we're at 512. So it's just for fun, and it has to end eventually. Otherwise, I'd be at $1 million. But I decided to do this series because I figured it would be fun to try doing a longer live stream. I've never done more than a couple hours. So only do a donation if you're a long-time viewer and you actually like my content. And to give some closure on the update from the last video. So the 37-year-old broke loser video, that video did quite well, much better than I thought. So it was it made over $6,000 Canadian. So the immediate financial urgency is resolved. I can pay the debts and pay the rent for at least a month, and the root canal and all that kind of stuff. And the revenue for this month is basically all the videos have more views. So the overall channel revenue is on this month. I'm already on track to be cash flow positive for the month. So that substantially changes the math on things. As a further, I mentioned that. So as a further encouragement not to donate me, I promise to spend all of the money on candy. And in case you don't know, Google takes 30% of the all of your super chat donations. So we got our first super chat of the night from Manuel MV. That's becoming a familiar name. That's €5, which equals, I guess, $7.39 Canadian. So we're off to a good start. Congrats on earning 6K Canadian. That was I did expect that video would do better than most of my other ones, but I thought it might only get 30,000 views or something. But it's a nice. They say that money doesn't solve problems, but it certainly takes the edge off. Not sure I count as your main demographic, but I learned a lot about Linux since subscribing. I've seen a lot of people say they were not even interested in Linux and they learned something about Linux from the channel. So that's that bodes well for the future. Once we get to numbers like 32768, and you will not sleep and continue to stream until you hit these goals. Yeah, I think when I did the $4 one, that one it took almost an hour to get $4. So I thought this will end pretty quickly. But of course the last couple of videos have brought in a lot more viewers. Half my engineer coworkers don't know who Richard Stallman is. Some of the new grads have never even heard of Hacker News. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I kind of had the same, if you grow up in these environments, it's so familiar to you. But I remember teaching at the college, and the students were all they would save backup files and then email them around and stuff. And that was, they had never heard of Git. It was just totally foreign to them. Tragic seeing computer culture just get crowded in the industry. I guess there'll always be new things replacing, crowding out the older technologies. I mean, I'm actually even behind on all the AI VS Code stuff. I've been focused on more the video production stuff, but I haven't actually gotten down and done a lot of hardcore coding in a bit. How long are you willing to keep streaming for the goal? It's a good question. I guess a few hours. I think for this one, I don't know if I'm not sure if I'll reach this one. I was going to try and start earlier, but that takes me to my other point. Is I'm testing out a different streaming setup tonight. So my refrigerator is extremely loud, and I usually have to shut off my refrigerator every time I do a live stream. And so for this one, I figured this one is going to be the first one that's quite a bit longer. So I moved. I'm actually in a different room tonight, and it took me almost like 4 hours to get this set up in here because my other table is out there with my, it's like a big round table, and it's kind of too hard to move around. And I had some other stuff in here wasn't able to fit. So my setup is all on boxes tonight. I was originally going to go and just sit on the floor, but it's so hard to get a streaming setup. Like I have this I specifically bought a microphone stand, but when I try to like angle it down, it doesn't go down far enough, and it's like in front of my face in the camera, and it's just it's almost unbelievable to say it takes like 4 hours to set up the streaming setup, but it really is, because you have to. I try to set up the both capture cards, and then I plug them into like one USB adapter thing, a USB-C adapter, but then it doesn't work if I plug both of them into it, even though it does with the other USB adapter I have. So I have to like fiddle around to get it, get the configuration so it's just the right USB port, so that the system I have barely functions. Let's see. Have you watched the NVIDIA keynote? No, actually, I have not. Let me make sure I don't kick the microphone stand. I have seen a clip the last couple of days of Jensen walking around on stage with like a really, really massive silicon wafer. Maybe that's probably something related. Be honest, is there a greater than 0% chance NVIDIA is cooking the books? That's really hard to say. In terms of the stock price, like it can be people that bid up the stock price purely based on anticipation. So I assume they're probably trading at like some crazy multiple of price per earnings. So in that sense, they could accurately represent the books, and people are just anticipating like future growth and future revenue. Lion says, "Hello, Robert. Hope you're having a nice day." Yeah, today's a pretty decent day. So intro updates, continuing with those. Yes. So that grinding noise, that is the elevator in this building. So I guess I moved over here, and I'm trading the noise of the refrigerator from the noise of the elevator in this building. It's in the last few months, it's been making a lot of grinding noises. And of course that's related to this point, testing out another streaming setup. So hopefully I don't like all my stuff doesn't fall over or something like that. And I think there might be a little bit more echo in here. I got to put up some more blankets. Let's see. Your video was shared on Reddit. It was. I think it made the rounds in a bunch of places. I saw some people reacting to it and stuff, and I guess it's honestly it's I think it kind of sucks that that's my kind of what do you call that, my breakout video, because it's not a great perspective to be known as so people probably see me and be like, oh, you're that broke loser guy, and I'll be like, yep, that's me. But it was an authentic moment in time, and I really was. All the numbers on that board were exactly what was in my accounts. So actually, someone wondered if I had another secret account. If I had like, cause I think I said a checking account, but like, what about savings? And I think I actually did. I did have one US dollar account that I didn't put on the board that had $100 US in it, and that was it. With this one fall of cash, are you no longer 37-year-old broke loser? Conceptually, like I don't think I've ever thought of myself as a loser. I mean, I put that in the pinned comment, But look, working backwards, if you think about someone who's 37 years old, single, no money, they got some male pattern balding, they're like about to be evicted, and then you say like, what would be a word to describe that person? Yeah, I think loser is kind of would be fitting to that. So it's technically not clickbait, but I think it's also the whole video I think is a general advertisement to people give autobiographical stories of their success, and I think it's also it's good to just I think some people really didn't get the video. It really reached a very wide demographic, but I really made the video for other people who want to do basically what I'm doing, like kind of freelance software consulting, contracting stuff. We're told, people in our industry are told that there's all these tech entrepreneurs building all this amazing stuff, and there's tons of work out there for these companies. And but of course, my perspective is there's just so many of these companies that are just building nonsense, and there's no just like very poor leadership, and then of course the kind of the confluence of all the chaos with the rental and the housing market and stuff like that. There's some people have said, oh, I'm in Canada and I did better than you. Like, good for you, but this was my experience, and there it is in an hour-long video. Hello, Robert. Good evening. Are you doing binary search for your per stream Superchat income potential? I guess not so much binary search, just an exponential speed run to becoming a trillionaire. Robert, do you feel like you're very honest with yourself? Let me not kick the microphone here. I think so. It seems like rent in Canada is cooling down, so that's positive. Yeah, it has. The peak rent for this building, so I'm paying $1,100. The peak rent here was $2,400 for a 2-bedroom. That's what it was like when it was really, really cooking. That's kind of when the Ren Evictions were really going strong in this building and some of the other ones. Right now it's I think $1,800 in this building. So it's it's cooling down a bit, and I guess the other benefit of that is it also makes it a bit less likely that they'll be so aggressive with the Ren Evictions. But I guess there's also an update on the Ren Eviction situation. So I found out that so originally I had an N13 eviction hearing on the 19th, and I found out that's been rescheduled as a case management hearing for January 27th. And the other thing is you're supposed to submit the evidence 7 days before. So I thought that I had until February 12th to submit all my evidence, but now it's at least the 27th, or I think they suggested that there might be some leeway on that if it's a bit late or something, but it's technically supposed to be in 7 days in advance. So I have a lot less time to get prepared for that. So that's a slightly different thing. So I don't know. That is so I was actually working on a long form video for this week, but I only found out about the hearing a couple of days ago. So that is kind of shifted my priorities. I gotta focus on getting that under control and get my evidence ready. And because either way, there's going to be some kind of hearing on the 27th. I don't know exactly what's going to happen, if we're going to do a hearing on the 27th, and then there's going to be like another eviction hearing after that or something. But it's a significant change that I'll have to do some research on. Okay, we got another super chat here, one from Doug M for $5. Nice. And that's $5 US, I think so. Let's see, did I miss some chats? Rent's cooling down. Saw your video and realized that my future is very similar to yours. Yeah, I guess if you're younger than me, then I don't know of course all I can do is, at least with authority, I can only advise you on how to get into exactly my position. But hopefully there's some insights there you can use to avoid that same fate. And you're doing much better than me. Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. There's a lot of people in the world who are suffering right now. It's, I mean, part of the reason why, like some people said, like, just cut your losses and move. And, technically I could just move back into parents' basement immediately, but at the same time, like, I would like to live independent, and staying here and going through the process and just learning about how the whole Ren Eviction process works. It's so stressful in so many ways, because there's unpredictability about like I mean, this thing that just happened here about like before I was preparing for an N13 an L2 hearing for an N13, and I have to discuss the merits of the N13 eviction, but now I have to figure out what a case management hearing is and stuff, and I never heard of that before. So I need a better table. My setup is just here on a big pile of boxes. Let's see, I got a super chat here. What is your favorite Linux command? Oh, that's a really good question. I actually just made a video about that topic, and I also mentioned it in my one of my recent community posts. So take a look at that, and that'll let you know what my favorite Linux command is. From Himalio for 10 euros. Nice. Let's see. Are you a Linux streamer too? I guess I had been most of these streams. I just been doing streams for fun, once per week. I'd been demoing my block mining simulation game, which is let me switch over to that. Yeah, so this is the block mining simulation game. It's a game I've been working on for a while. So the idea, I mean, it's kind of an insane idea, but eventually the goal will be to add enough into this that I can maybe make it into some kind of a marketable game. And the theme about it is it's a terminal-based video game, and so there's a lot of insights about like how to do various stuff in the terminal. So I figured it made sense to start off with this, because the intersection between, there's not very many terminal-based games, and the intersection between terminal-based stuff and my audience is very high. So it made sense to do something that actually appeals to my existing demographic, and then from there I can kind of expand. Let's see. Doug M, that's like 100 Canadian dollars. Yeah, our dollar is getting, I guess we're at 20 in total now, but the Canadian dollar is going down rapidly, and pretty much everything that economists say is that our dollar is going to continue to go down for quite a bit, and probably, I think I don't know if we just broke what is it, 70 cents per US dollar, but we're on a long-term downtrend, and I think the Bank of Canada's implicitly suggested that they're going to that's going to be the release valve for the housing market. They're going to probably keep housing prices high, but the way they'll get out of this bubble is to just devalue the Canadian dollar. Yeah, you finally caught one of your streams. Welcome. I like your videos. You have a good voice for narration, very calming. Yeah, a lot of people have suggested that, although it's quite interesting. I'd say probably like 85% of people, I mean, it might be more like probably 90% say it's they really like my voice, but then like 10% say it's that my voice is like really awful and they can't stand it, which is I find pretty kind of amusing. But it's I guess I was kind of born at the wrong time. If only maybe I should have started doing like voice acting like a few years ago, because now like some people said oh, you should do audiobooks and stuff, but now AI is going to replace all that stuff. Do online courses or CDPs hold more credibility than a college course? That's a good question. I honestly don't really know. I mean, if someone has a degree or certification from something, it says something like specific about like there's a kind of a minimum set of things that says. So if you get a like if you have a university degree, it says you can do all the things that are required for a university degree, like the homework and the reliability of coming to class and stuff like that. Now for some of these like certifications courses, like for like what I would kind of think about is like one of the like really important, really universally recognized things is like a course on WHMIS symbols. So WHMIS symbols for like hazardous materials and stuff like that. That's the type of thing that's not a difficult subject to learn, and it's not complex, or it's not like necessarily prestigious, but it's the kind of thing where a employer will, like, for example, if you wanted to work with chemicals, like let's say you're working in a warehouse or something with dangerous chemicals, they don't require that you like know everything about chemicals. They just need to know, like, to check off them in the box, like, do you know the specific set of things? And that's how I kind of look at other types of certifications. Like there's certain I think I actually don't know much about these, but I know there's like Red Hat Enterprise certification, and that's how I'd kind of look at something like that, where for certain government organizations, they might have like a kind of checklist thing to say, like, we need to know that you have been exposed to these concepts, and then from that they can at least like check off to say, like, okay, this person knows about these things. So I guess I'd kind of look at them as like my micro credentials. Okay, go as a super chat of 100 NOK. I can't. I'm not sure what that one is, but that's your first super on a live stream. So congrats. Thank you very much for the 100 NOK. And we got another one, 69.99 from Albano Coxo, and that's Canadian dollars. Nice. Thank you very much. We're at 77.61. So we're almost a fifth of the way there. Okay, let's see. Is that my fan? Yeah, you can probably hear my fan a little bit tonight, so I guess it's not too bad. I have the computer a bit closer tonight. Oh, I missed that. Sudo rm-rt. Oh, RF. Yeah, I was going to say RT. What does that do? Do you have any certifications? I have my software engineering degree. That's my. Other than that, I think I do have my WHMIS certification. I think it was like one of the first things we did back in the day. By the way, congrats on getting so close to 100K. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I'm at 98,000 or something. So that's that's cool. I think that I've always thought about like 100K. That's when you become like a real YouTuber. So I guess this is my job now, and I have to keep doing this because you have to just follow what makes money, and the consulting thing and contract work is just it doesn't there. I mean, I'm still wondering and waiting whether my other client will ever come back for more of those report work, but yeah, we'll see, I guess. I've been following since you first started talking about financial stuff. Well, I've seen you to have lots of potential. Oh, thank you very much. I'm going to try to get a job so I don't end up like you, but TBH, I have a tough time doing interviews and lead code. Yeah, the whole industry is kind of in a weird spot. I mean, there's so much talent out there, and there's so many great people who have so much they want to contribute to the economy, but the whole interview process is just, it's weird. Like the whiteboard interview is strange. Oh, great guess. with $5. I'm doing my part. Thank you very much, Greg. What's the pipe? Oh, that's your username. What's the pipe? What's the best way to support you? I'd say you're already doing it. And also, I guess that was that was your Greg. That was your third super, and what's the pipe? That's your first super on a live stream. I would say honestly I would say I would prefer like small super chats like that, because when I get like a super big one, I think the YouTube algorithm is like knows you better than people know themselves. So I think like if you see content that from me that you like multiple small super chats or super thanks are better than like a big one, because that way also you can you can think about it and then maybe be like maybe I don't want to give so much to this person, or like spread it. You can spread it around to multiple people, but also it's a signal for me. So if I see money come in, I'm like, oh cool, and I get some of that dopamine. I know to do more of that content, and it's like another signal. Like for this live stream, I'm at 72 concurrent viewers, which is less than the last one. So there's something about this one is I don't know. It's not bringing in as many. Maybe it's the time. Maybe it's some kind of auto detection thing in Google's algorithm. Kudos for trying. So much of your story is relatable to me. I don't think I have what it takes to maintain a YouTube channel. Yeah, it's definitely interesting. There's it certainly is a unique experience reading, both the extremely positive but also extremely critical comments on stuff you post out there. And then of course now it's even worse, because you don't have to wonder like, are these bots like just saying really mean things to mess with me? Will you stay past 512 if we reach it so quickly? No, my pattern has been I have to obey the title, so live streaming until the goal is reached, and then the live stream ends, and then I'll start again the next week. I think you can lean into your humor. I think you're a very funny guy who could address a mass of salty tech workers at the moment. Yeah, a few people have said something to that effect, so it makes sense. And I guess for any kind of I'd say a lot of the humor and jokes and stuff I make reflects my real personality and real sense of humor. So that seems to be the successful model, is like the sustainably authentic. People want to know what is this person actually like, if they're not trying to impress people. But of course some people don't. I actually got just before the live stream, I was reading one comment that was like super nasty about saying like people don't like this kind of thing. But they're wrong empirically, because the content I put out about when I offer to do consulting work, there's just not a lot of revenue that comes in from that, but the YouTube thing seems to be growing at the moment. But of course it was also the Christmas holidays, so we'll have to see. Like this month I'm going to be cash flow positive, but then we'll have to see long term what happens. And of course the Ren Eviction thing is also, people want to know what's going to go on with the Ren Eviction. So once that ends, it's who knows what'll happen. No disrespect, but I'd rather see him as an inspiration. I can try to learn from him, but I can't stop doing what I'm doing. Yeah, I think the best way to take my video is like in the video I try to put as much stuff about like, here's what I tried and then here's what happened. There's a bunch of people saw it like as excuses, and maybe you could call it excuses, but there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of like anecdotes of like, here's what you can experience in the real world, and without having to go out and have those first-hand experiences. Now I also think I was kind of unlucky, but then also like that's kind of that's kind of a cope, just to say like, oh, I was not successful because I was unlucky. But then, so your experience may be different. You need to refresh. It says almost 80 for me. Your community posts have been hilarious. Oh, thank you. Glad you like them. Yeah, they seem to get a decent number of views. They get basically no views on other platforms. The comment about refreshing, I don't know if that was about the chat revenue. I did notice the chat revenue. It went up. It was like $7 and then it went down to $5 or something. I don't know what that was about. You showed me my favorite Linux commands. Excellent. Grandma Riz joke. It's funny on the Broke Loser video. Yeah, it's it's true. There's one of the things that's talked about a lot is for younger people hate on boomers a lot, and they're like, oh, boomers are so selfish and entitled, and they destroyed the world, and they're all rich, and they have houses and stuff, and they're making things difficult for young people. But there's also a lot of boomers who live in buildings like this one who are also being rent evicted. And I was talking to one of the older men who lives here, and he's got like hearing problems, and he's not able to. He was saying he probably can't go to one of the meetings to actually hear what's going on with the latest updates about the rent eviction situation. And I mean, when you're like understanding all this stuff, even as a software developer, it's difficult for me to keep track of all the changes and all the different legal stuff and so forth. I can only imagine how difficult it is for like elderly, seniors who have like hearing problems and stuff like that. So it's it's rough. Let's see. In 12 more weeks, you'll be making $2 million per stream. That'll be that'll probably take quite a while to reach that amount, unless like I don't know, maybe it'll glitch the algorithm, and then I'll have like 1 million concurrent viewers. Wouldn't that be great if YouTube just sent like literally every single person on YouTube to my channel, and then everyone donated? Everyone's like, hey, why are we super chatting this random stream? Maybe it's just the algorithm in terms of what I see. Channels like this seem to be exploding now. I think there's a few different things. I feel like I've gotten a bit of an intuition about the YouTube algorithm. It's about like spaced repetition, but I also think it's related to like the human memory. Like if you posting once a day is more valuable than posting once a week, because the space, like if you see something every day, it gets burned into your memory more than if you see it like once a week. Just keep up good work. Keep up whatever you do. I've been trying to keep up the Linux content videos. I honestly, because of the rent eviction stuff, I'm gonna have to. I have been actually working on like scripted video to follow up the last one, but I may. I'm not sure what I'll do, but I'll have to maybe. I may just try to do like a more stream of consciousness. There's actually like I've been reading a lot of the comments on the last couple of videos, and there's like a lot of things I could quickly rattle off, and maybe I'll try to make like a, responding to random comments type video. There are a lot of poor disabled boomers. Yeah, and like some of them are not even like the ones I met in this build. They're not necessarily poor. They're just like, if you take the average. It's hard to explain, but if you just like meet these people, then and realize like, oh, this person is like quite elderly, and they don't know anything about TikTok, or they don't have the ability to make YouTube videos to complain about what's going on, and they grew up in a high trust society, but now things are kind of like all the bad faith rent evictions and stuff. They're not able to keep up with how much things are going off the rails. can't super chat with GH website name in the comment. Kyle McBurnett. Oh, GitHub. Oh yeah. I recognize your name. If you you mentioned you have a project you're working on. I responded to I think one of your comments, but I forgot to check it up. So I mean, if you want to send me a message on some platforms. I'm getting a fair amount of messages recently, and also something happened in my email where it's switched, so it like sends messages to my my junk mail when I don't want her to. But yeah, feel free to reach out. Falter 5S74, 23.99 euros. Ignore negativity. Can't help those individuals. Yet every laugh you generate is precious. Thank you for the kind words. Let's see. Work a small business. Like when you're looking at to start, it's profitable, and learn while they're working there. If you aren't able to find one, it's profitable. It's a good sign not to start it. Yeah, technically, although I think like the most ideal case is if you could start one where you have no competition. But I think you could write lots of theses on that particular comment. I'm poor, but have some small support. Thank you very much for I think that's two Australian dollars from Sam's Train Official. Not sure what you're trying to say, but it seems there's some... Oh, you're finding someone else. Can you play the role of a squatter to buy yourself some time? For better or worse, it's usually pretty hard to evict someone. I prefer to, obey the law and just like there's some people who want to do like, full rent strikes and stuff and stop paying their rent in bulk. But, I'm of the opinion, I think we should just like, can't we just follow the rules and laws and stuff? Like we're supposed to have rent control here, and there's supposed to be no legal basis to just arbitrarily evict everyone. So, to me, it's like, well, this should be straightforward. We should just be able to go to the board and be like, they shouldn't be able to arbitrarily evict us. But we'll see. I don't know. I don't know how things are going to work with the case management hearing. I have to. I kind of just found out about that, and so it's another thing I had to research. We got another from Kyle McBurnett. Please check out my shell. I could use some feedback from users on the direction to take with my shell. An opinion from another terminal enthusiast would mean a lot to me. Is that GH for GitHub, Kyle McBee /KROSS. I haven't taken a look at that, but I've seen a few comments, and Kyle McBurnett he's done a few different super chats. So if you're a Linux terminal enthusiast, definitely check out his project. He's looking for some feedback on the project, and he contributed to the community, so definitely give some attention and thought to his so it's a different kind of shell, I guess. If you want, feel free to mention some stuff in the chat about what kind of features it has. So what are the advantages over like Bash or some ZSH and all the other mainstream shells. Just get a small $1 million loan from your dad. Oh yeah, I should do that. That's a good idea. Thank you. It's a cool website. Keeps track of public database of court orders served. There are a few public sites that have some stuff about other eviction hearings, but from what I understand, a lot of stuff like it doesn't actually go to court. There's like settlements beforehand and stuff, and scrape so much data from it because it's a pay to use thing. I withheld rent for a month when I realized I wasn't getting a security deposit back. Some of the worst people become landlords. Don't worry about causing them some difficulty if they do the same to you. Well, the thing is, presumably it should be possible to go to, escalate to the tenant board. And if I do things that are against the rules, if I'm a bad tenant, then that gives me a lot less leeway at the tenant board. So I see no reason to, I'll just keep paying the rent that it's in my contract, and we'll see where things go. There's going to be some, I guess there's only 20 days and less than 20 days until the case management hearing, so I'll find out more there. Thank you. Live updating widgets like a clock. It updates in real time in the prompt. Okay. Yeah, I think I've seen. Does it use Sixels? That was a thing that I recently learned about. I'd never even really heard about that for quite a while. It's a thing for like terminal-based pixel graphics. None says, can you talk about first C compiler bootstrapped? Do you mean my my bootstrapped C compiler project? I guess I was trying to build a C compiler that would like bootstrap itself, but I worked on that project for a couple years. Initially I had some grandiose ideas about like making it into something like something that would generate better compiler error messages and stuff, but I found it was just there's too much to do, too much work to do to make a compiler. Like you can, once you learn a lot of the theory, you can just implement variable length arrays. That takes like a few days or something like that, and then there's like floating point stuff, and that's like a few days and a week. But there's so many features, and then eventually once you add enough features, you have to think about the permutation of all features with all other features in the compiler, and so it kind of gets out of hand pretty quickly. Let's see. $1 Million Traveler says, what is your life philosophy? I don't know. It's probably, I guess, lots of life philosophies. I don't think I can sum it up in super quick. I guess I probably need a specific. I guess my life philosophy is an aggregation of lots of philosophies for dealing with individual situations. So I guess survival based then. That's reasonable. I did not have a tenant board to call. The government was also after these landlords in my case. Yeah, I kind of wish the government would come down on some of the landlords here. I mean, it's really things are like from everything I read about the tenant boards and stuff. There's a lot of really bad tenants who are allowed to get away with bad behavior, and then also a lot of landlords who are getting away with bad behavior. And there's at the same time, it's also very very, very good landlords, especially small landlords, are getting like completely screwed. They end up losing their house because there's just like one crazy tenant that just refuses to pay rent and damages the place. And that was one of the things I mentioned in my very last video. Greetings. It's a Brazilian flag, I think. Kind of look forward for Fedora's hat. Admire Linux system. Stay here for the good vibe. Thank you for the kind words. Rich people don't pay taxes. Yeah, if you have enough money, you can hire accountants, and they can do magical stuff for you. I'm just oddly validated. I'm not the only one battling the LTB. Hope you get more donations. Yeah, it's we really need to do something about this housing crisis. Like it just never ends, and it gets worse and worse. And I mean, there's all kinds of articles the last few days about there was we're like a record 80,000 homeless people in Ontario now. And I mean, I think Ontario is one of the worst provinces right now for, I think, like housing affordability and distortions. And we imported we had a huge immigration for a while, but then we like abruptly shut that off, and so it's doing havoc on the market. I think it's bad for tenants, but I think it's also probably very stressful for these people like buying these buildings. There's probably a lot of people who are going to lose their shirts with being over leveraged and stuff, and of course the other big thing is because the market is bad for the people financing the stuff right now. It's also getting really bad for new home construction. So there's it's like record low amounts of new housing construction now, and that's going to mean we're going to have even more housing shortages in 5 years from now. Maru Kotu, $5 Canadian from Montreal, a fellow Canadian, and that's your first super chat on live stream. Thank you very much. All the landlords are borrowing money to buy properties, drive up rent. Yeah. What's the most Canadian thing about you? I don't know. I guess there's lots of people that people say I give myself away very quickly with my accent, so I guess I sound Canadian. In Ontario, there's a clause, I believe, called right to first refusal. Yeah, that we're supposed to have that for Ren Evictions. For this one, he wants people out for it says in the thing 8 to 10 months, which is like a crazy long amount of time. So if you're out, if you're somewhere else for 8 to 10 months, then you got to find somewhere else to live for that time, and he has a reputation for not honoring that. Have agency over life control. It's a different beast. I think I'll never truly have it. I guess you can have control over the things, control over the agency in your own life. You can have control over some things, but certainly not certain external factors. When are you moving to the Philippines? A bunch of people have suggested I do that. Probably not anytime soon. Have you read Crime and Punishment? I've not. If you borrow $1 million to buy a building, you will raise rents in an instant to make your payments to. Yeah, I mean, capitalists will do what they do, but I'm a capitalist too, so I will leverage the law as much as possible to maximize my capitalist potential. 10% max increase from your current rent. I think it's max. Could be wrong. Just I'm not forced to go. With rent control, it's supposed to be 2.5% a year, because I guess the Bank of Canada says inflation is supposed to be capped at 2. Inflation is around 2% or something, but of course it's not. Somebody anonymous says good night. Have a good night. They will never pass on savings. They will always pass on expenses. Yep. Privatize the profits and socialize the losses. Was the Bay Area a nicer place to live? Bay Area was definitely nicer. I mean, it depends where you are. It's quite diverse in terms of what the area is like. But expensive, very, very expensive and very competitive to live anywhere. Hello from Ireland. When inflation goes back down, the rent doesn't seem to correspond. It has been going down a little bit recently, but it's up in the air what's going to happen in the future. I mean, if things, we have unemployment going up and lots of weird, wacky stuff going on in the economy, so it really depends. It's all about whether people can and will keep paying those big rents. Have you ever done machine learning stuff? I had a chance to do a course on it in school, but I skipped on it because I actually did some AI stuff before I came to university, so I felt like I already knew a little bit of that. But it honestly is I've gotten very the knowledge I have is from like 2007 or something, so I'm very behind on it, and it would be really interesting to get back into that. But too much on the go at the moment. I mean, I guess lately with the community posts, I've been people say you should try out AI, and I have been trying AI to see what can I do with the AI generated art, and honestly, I'm very impressed, and it's like that really is kind of like a revolutionary feature. It's pretty amazing to see the kind of stuff you can generate with that. Do you think some of the problems from your video are standard with software engineering jobs, but is clashing with your entrepreneurship? Well, so I did 6 different co-ops in undergrad. So I worked at I've worked at five distinct software development places, and I've done 6 different internships at those places. So I never graduated full-time work, but even when I was an intern, when I was at Amazon, when I left, they were like surprised because they said they thought I was a full-time employee. So I really doubt that, and I got to interact with full-time, so I got a pretty good experience of what it's like for full-times there. So I have an idea, and a lot of my some of the complaints I made in that long video are based on my experiences working on those places. So I think I've had enough exposure to know approximately what it's like to work there for years full-time. And honestly, I think it's even worse. Like, interns get the most luxurious treatment, and they expect even more of you when you're full-time. I have heard that it's better for other people. I've had friends and colleagues who said that their experience was a lot better than mine. Are you going to be up all night? People really want bad advice. Yeah, I guess I may. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Good night, Mr. Some Google account. Are you going to try some sort of follow up to your 37-year-old broke loser video? Feels like there was more good content there. It's very interesting stuff. Yeah, immediately after I made that video, I was immediately thinking it's so much work to compile that, but there's so much more. There's even more client stories that I could have talked about and stuff. Not too many more, but I think the comments on the video, there's a lot more that I could explore. I would say there's there's some comments that are supportive and some that are critical, and in some ways I think both of them are kind of not well informed. And there's some people oh, you're dumb, you should have just do this, and it's so easy to throw at that advice. But I have some thoughts on if you attempt to just do that, sometimes that's another form of failure and chance if things still don't work out. Rents don't go up due to inflation. They go up because a landlord can make up a number, and you have to pay that if you want to live there. Yeah, I mean it's based on market rates. Of course, there's that class action lawsuit in the U.S. and I think also Canada now, where there was some company that was using actually AI software to bid up all of the rents and charge everyone more, doing price fixing basically. No, because it's public good. We shouldn't make systems where people want to be private landlords. Landlords provide zero value. Honestly, I think if we just had a functioning legal system and enforced laws and stuff, everything would be fine. This chaos and stuff we're going through here, it shouldn't be this super traumatic, disruptive thing for everyone. There should be just some surface level investigation where they're okay, these are bad faith Ren evictions, so we will call you out on this and then shut it down, and people can live there, and Only apartment complexes should be corporate landlords. Where does all of your money go? I mean, it depends which money. Some of the recent stuff is going to pay off the debt that I have. That is, of course, the root canal I had recently. Rent is another big one. In terms of numbers, there are more bad tenants than bad landlords. I mean, numerically, I guess that's true, since there are, of course, more tenants than more landlords. They maintain and purchase properties to give them value. Renting does nothing for anyone. The real estate location is the real value, not the building. I mean, like, there are good landlords. Like, a good landlord, does what they're supposed to. They upkeep the building, and they provide temporary housing, and I mean, for some people, permanent housing. Favorite distro is Clear Linux. No, you weren't asking me, but I think it's a fun question. Yeah, personally, I don't actually try too many. I kind of just work with what works. There's so many different distros, and landlord provide value taking care of apartment complexes when there's a building of multiple units. You can tell nobody has ever owned a house. McDonalds says they buy prime real estate, build a store that muddles along until they sell the land and make a real quick profit. Yeah, I read that about McDonald's' business model. It's kind of fascinating that it just comes down to being like real estate. Wrong gain. I get not 100% sure what that reference is, but I guess we're maybe developing an argument about landlords there. But I mean, my policy is like, I think there's definitely a place in the market for good landlords, and that's what we need more of, and also we need more better enforcement of the law. But anyway, I'll let me pull up my. Let's see. So yes, I mentioned that I was working on a long form video. I only found out about the hearing date change a couple days ago, and now I'm going to focus on preparing for hearing. Oh yeah, I've mentioned in previous streams that my computer fan was failing, and that was the reason I had to switch to this other old laptop. This is a laptop I bought in 2015, and it works better for streaming than my current new laptop, because the fan in this one keeps getting hitched up and makes a super annoying noise. And that the replacement fan has been in the mail system for over 33 days now, and that's partially because there was a postal strike, and of course it's coming from overseas, and it took them 1 week to actually get it in the mail. So the ETA is 10 days remaining on the shipping. So in 10 days, hopefully I'll actually receive it, and hopefully I have not ordered the wrong fan. Oh yeah, and actually when I turned on my other backup computer, the exact same fan bearing problem started happening in my old backup computer. So hopefully that doesn't happen on the stream, but it did when I first started it up, and then I just like shut it off and then booted up again. But so I have two good different computers that I have for the streaming and development and rendering, but the fans are failing in both of them. Okay, so this is the this will be one of the first longer streams. So I think one of the I've watched people that did like crazy streaming marathons, and they always, their voice starts to, they lose their voice after a while, and that seems to be kind of the limiting factor to how long you can live stream. So maybe I'll have to figure out how to take breaks, because I can already feel my my voice kind of, I need to give it a rest. What are you rendering? Sometimes I use it, well, actually, because the other computer has the problem with the fan. Sometimes I'll copy all the files over to the old computer, and then I'll just leave it on all night when let it render the final video. Actually, for the 37-year-old broke loser video, that's what I rendered it on. And it took like 8 hours. I'm already losing my voice, and it's only been what's it been? Probably like an hour or something. Okay, let's. I think maybe what I'll do, I'll maybe read less of the chats, but I got some water right here actually. I'll read less of the chats, and we'll do some block mining in the block mining simulation game. So I'll ignore chat for a little bit, and then give my voice a bit of a break. But I'll read any of the super chats. Can you do a video where you savor the goodies you buy with stream money, like Tim Hortons, craft dinner? Yeah, I could do some like candy mukbangs, or whatever that term is for the where you eat on stream. This game could blockchain. It does contain blocks. Candy mukbangs. I wouldn't mind doing those. Some people would probably I would probably get a lot of hate for doing a video complaining about my my dental bills, but then also eating candy. But I don't know, that is a pretty good idea though. Was Tetris the OG blockchain? I don't know. Doesn't quite have the chaining aspect. He wants to see him show us his buy daily workout routine. Yeah, I guess I could do that. Well, that's a question. I mean, it's not as interesting. But I wonder how it works with the metrics. Like, would it make more sense to, like, would it hurt my long-term metrics to do more streams with like boring content, I guess it would probably just change the demographics. Is this the just chatting version for nerds? I guess. Would you say is that pre-med CS is a viable option? I'm not even quite sure I understand. Like, do you mean like pre-med is in the pathway to? I thought that was like what doctors do, but pre-med CS, does that mean like pre-medical computer science? I don't know if that's a thing. I've never. If I'm understanding it correctly, that I'm totally unaware of that. Is your compiler project bootstrapping the same as the first C compiler Richie wrote? I'd really like to hear about your compiler bootstrapping. I had some visions to like make it kind of super minimalist and stuff like that. It was able to self-compile, but actually one of the issues I had was I wanted to make it so it would self-compile, and then make it so it can actually compile itself inside of the virtual machine. And because it was so slow, I never actually got it to finish. And then so I started working on writing more code to make the compiler, the bytecode, it generates more efficient. And then of course, to make it more efficient, that required more code from optimization. And then that was kind of where the project really got away from me, because I had to write more complex code to make it more efficient. But then since there was more code, now it increased the size, it increased the footprint, and because it was already inefficient, it was just kind of like this circular issue where past some point, if I make it efficient enough, then eventually I'd kind of come back down to earth, but I never quite got there. Let's hear more about your dating prospects. I think eventually a viewer for streams can fall in love with you, or another thing you'd never expect. I don't know. Maybe we'll keep that topic off stream. It's not so much that I don't want to talk about it. It's that if I do talk about it, I will attract people who really, really want to talk about that topic, and having discussions about interpersonal relationships with a mostly tech dominated audience is just nah. I mean there's lots of that content on YouTube, and not too interested in that. I'll keep it technical, boring, and dry about maximizing productivity and getting jobs and making money, etc. I think of candy right now. If you are, which candy, and where would you actually buy it if you gave in right this minute? I mean, technically, I could give in. I'll abstain for now, because once I have one of them, then I'll want to have more. will you save a princess at the end of this game? That's not currently a feature, but that's a good idea for a feature. In some of your older videos, there's a nice cat. That's true. Yeah, that cat is still around. Doesn't live here anymore. But I'm happy to report though that I was able to pet that cat recently. Have you thought about starting your own entrepreneurial engineering school? I mean, in some respects, I think that's kind of almost what I would think is this YouTube channel. So I mean, I used to teach at the local college, and when you just do the numbers on like how many students I can reach, how many course hours, like consumption and stuff. In terms of broadcasting information, YouTube is a better way to broadcast that information, and also like I can kind of take my time. The economies of scale mean I can spend way more time on a video, and then the video gets my how to make a CPU video. I spent a lot of time and money on that video, but now it has like 8 million views, and I think the cost efficiency of that, even though I'm like, that's way less content. Like in school, I would do like hundreds of lecture hours, but I think it's better to have a 1 minute, 1.5 minute video that millions of people watch rather than hours and hours of low quality content. R.I.P. Robert's teeth. Yeah, I think that's why. I mean, eating candy on stream that's gonna get some hate, but it is such a good idea though that I almost consider it. How do you think USA's new upcoming policies toward Canada will affect your day-to-day life? Actually, I kind of think it might be good, because our dollar will get completely destroyed and go down in value, and a lot of my new business model is shifting more to YouTube and YouTube advertising. So since most of those ad dollars are US and US dollars, when they convert to Canadian, that may actually help me. But for other people in general, I think it will probably. I mean, Canada has a lot of issues with it, so hopefully there is a positive outcome, and so many people who run the show in Canada will reflect on their behaviors and policies, and we'll actually get something positive. We'll get some positive change. More like a business accelerator school, though. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, for an accelerator, I think one of the big things of accelerators is at the end of the line you get kind of like exposure to investors and stuff, and that's a whole other thing. I'd have to like find trustworthy investors, because you can bad investors can really mess up a company. You get equity in the companies. It helps start by teaching their founders how to. Realistically, I mean that's another thing I could talk about, but I almost think it's not a good idea. Like, we should probably try to avoid giving up equity at all costs, and more specifically, like, control of the company. It's a there's a pretty common thing that'll happen with like tech entrepreneurs. Someone's the founder and CEO, and then they get someone to invest, and then someone comes onto the board and they're like, oh, give me this like controlling. I want to be on the chair and have this controlling thing, and don't worry, I won't use my control. And then they do, and then they find they're getting replaced someday. And even if like you just have a weird investor who has like by virtue of just having some say in the company and having some equity, you still have to keep them informed. And I missed that comment about the cat. Yes, I was indeed able to thoroughly pet the cat recently. Let's see. Should you have running totals? We know how close you are to the goal. It's actually over. I guess I'm not pointing to it right now, but it's over by the the red text there. Do not donate. That says 170. Okay. Let me read this one, chat. You want hot, crazy matrix Linux commands? Okay, you're responding to another comment. We get another super chat from Jason. Jason Ongakul, $20, and that's your first super on a live stream. Thank you very much, Jason. Let's see. Okay, here's an interesting question though. You talked about how terrible most tech business models are because they are focused on the exit, not the product, right? What's the opposite model? Well, I think the opposite model, like the if I was to profess something that we should we need to try more things more often with less money, right? I think what we need is more. We need to more return to more like grassroots entrepreneurship. I kind of feel like, oops. I just have these boxes here. What I think is some of the key issues with entrepreneurship is like, so we have this idea of like a visionary tech, like some boy genius person that's gonna come in and raise $1 billion and act all arrogant and stuff like that, and try to emulate Elon, try to be like the next Elon Musk and stuff, and get a top Forbes 30 under 30 and all that kind of stuff. And they're chasing like the most high growth possible thing. And of course, what investors will come in to do is say, we'll give you money, but we want you to achieve even higher growth. So we want more risks, greater return. We want super rapid acceleration of everything. And the result of a lot of that is there's like a complementary relationship where you can always get a higher return on investment if you take more risk. But and so they take higher risk and they're like, oh, cool, that worked. Let's keep doing it. Let's keep upping the risk to get more return. And when the investors get involved, then they end up pushing it to take so much risk that it basically eventually fails. And so it almost becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy that a lot of these businesses end up failing or doing something like nonsensical, or they end up like destroying a lot of value in the process. And I think if we I think this is the concept of like a risk-adjusted rate of return, where I think there is some room in the economy for extremely high risk, like venture capital funded startups, like things that are going to return like 1,000x. But I think there's also an unmet need for investment in businesses that are just like boring. Like I'll give you an example of a business idea that I think is I think it's a very good business idea because I've had this need and I would pay something for it, and that is for low volume automation for what's called like paper finishing. So I actually have this big giant piece of metal in the other room for if you've checked my regular expression stickers or fridge magnets, I used a big like cutting press thing, and I spent like a few $100 on that thing. And what I would like to have is a low volume automation, like maybe a few $1,000s for one of these things, where I could make something like designed for business cards or fridge magnets or whatever, or like cards, or You could even imagine this for like let's say you have a wedding business or something. People want wedding invitations or cards or business cards, any of that kind of stuff. Something where you can have some degree of automated like chopping up pieces of paper. And I've searched a lot for something like this, and there's almost nothing on the market that really fills this need. And like the amount of research and development you'd need to do this, to get a mechanical engineer to design that, is not that significant. And I really think you could probably have a company that does, millions of dollars in sales per year by making these like low volume, semi-automated paper finishing types of things. And that's the kind of thing that I think venture capitalists would never fund, because and if they did fund it, they would just make it terrible. They'd make it like a subscription service or something like that. I think there actually is a product. There is one product that is exactly like that, where they try to make it some like subscription service where they can remotely disable it and stuff. And see, I missed a bunch of chats. Let's see. Carl Karsnark. There's quite a few chats from you. Maybe I'll get you to slow down a bit. You're kind of taking over the chat. Trying to help here. There are tons of startups that don't follow the Steve Jobs model. Just normal companies starting up. Have to look for them. It's not just pre-apples. Yeah, that's kind of the problem, is that you have to look for them. And I think also it's a vicious cycle, because if young people want to do entrepreneurship, they think like, oh, what is an entrepreneur? So they Google it, and the only results are exactly those things, these kind of like high growth businesses, business ideas, hurricane insurance, have good returns. So I missed that. Is Mastodon a good example of grassroots tech? What's the business model there? Being the opposite of what VCs want. Paper chopping makes sense, but not really a software biz. Yeah, it isn't a software biz, but at the same time, like I think you could, like, I could easily imagine basically just like an automated paper cutter, but it's powered by Arduino or something. And Mastodon, I think, is not really. I don't think of Mastodon as a business idea. There's no limit to what a person can own either. I can own 100 homes. Many people do here in Florida. Entire skyscrapers. Doesn't a circuit do what you were talking about? Low volume cutting of paper. Doesn't a circuit? Is that like a brand name of a product or something? Or do you just mean like an arbitrary electronic circuit? He's taking over. I guess you mean, yeah, that one chatter. Do you think subscriptions based on pacemakers have a future? I think there's big potential for profit there. Yeah, I'm sure there's already like lots of predatory pricing models with pacemakers these days. What do you think about the problem of misinformation on the internet? It's a big problem, but also I think the opposite is also like a kind of underappreciated problem. The fact that there's information that people are posting, and like people are starting to reject true information. And so if I tell you something like, oh, I heard the other day this thing in the news that the government made this law, you probably won't. You'll be like, that sounds like maybe misinformation. It's getting harder to come to an agreement on what reality is. My business is immoral. Not quite sure what you're referring to. No, business is what makes everything. Business is what makes everything happen in the world. Everything. Yeah, I guess. I know, yes, we live in late stage capitalism. I'm reminded every day. I'm just tired of it, and it's just fires. Yeah, it's. I mean, there's a lot of, in my opinion, a lot of the problems are not with capitalism itself, but it's more lack of enforcement of the law. Like capitalism needs law enforcement in order to function. We get another super chat here from AAD Chef. The broke loser video helped me so much after being laid off. Thank you. Yeah, I think that's kind of an ideal target market of my video. If you're thinking about going out and doing some consulting and contract work, hopefully I can I can impress upon people to be a bit more careful at who you take contract work with, and the fact that you're going to have to make sure your billing terms are good, and you don't let the unpaid invoices go for too long. Subscriptions, you will own nothing and be happy. Yep, that's the future. Let's see, Carl, you're chatting too much. You're almost like half of the chat. Last, recreational earn money gives people free time to help others. If you were this good at business, how could this chat possibly be your best use of your time? Yeah, I haven't. There's a lot of those chats I haven't been able to read. There's too many of them. Carl also has about half of the money, if I understand him correctly. Yeah, I haven't fully caught up with everything Carl has to say. Other people need to chat, so that Carl seems less intense. This is why we can't have nice things. All right, let's do a bit more block mining. I guess chats probably do help the algorithm. I actually don't know, but at the same time, it's also if there's only one person chatting, then people get suspicious. $30-year-old at 25. Look at 100K USD loan to buy BTC. They traded lost 50K before the bull market. Bull market made. Wow, 800K. Lost it all in 3 months. Wow. Current net worth, negative 200K. Wow. I can't imagine after being up 800K. That's got to be, I mean, that's like it reminds me of the cryptocurrency memes. Yeah, I'm lucky I got out. I bought $200 worth of Bitcoin way back in the day. Went up to $1,000. I sold, kept some of my Bitcoin. And then the big problem is back then everything would get hacked. All the exchanges were kind of sketchy. Channel engagement is how you're rated by YT, is it not? There's that, but there's also there's like kind of the second order thing is not just about like pure numbers, because if people enjoy the chat and they're like, oh, this is a cool place to chat, but if people try to have a conversation and then they find there's like too many other side conversations, and if people have a bad experience in the chat, then they leave, and then YouTube's like, oh, these people don't like the chat. Hi, Robert. Thanks for putting yourself out there. Oh, I missed that chat. Chat police are here. Yep. I'm gonna bust you guys if you don't comply with the chat policies. $1 million trawler sends $2. Thanks for answering my business questions. No problem. And I can see you're also a channel member, so I try to give priority to any of the channel member questions as well. And when we got another super chat from Ben K for $5. Robert, what are you going to do with $512? So I said in the intro, I'm going to all donations will be spent on candy, but technically that's actually a lie because it'll be spent on I guess probably the expenses to get going. It'll be spent on replacement computer fans. It'll be spent on rent, and I guess replenishing savings from my recent root canal and all the necessities of life. I don't understand people worrying about people commenting a lot. 90% people in here are coders and can read those messages in a millisecond. Some kind of neurotic anxiety. I guess for me it's a bit. I have to process more. So if I look at the chat and it's mostly one person, then that one person is kind of getting more of my mind share. I want to. I mean, it is more when the chat starts going fast. It starts to get more difficult. But I think generally speaking, even if there's a lot of people chatting, there shouldn't be one. Ideally, there shouldn't be one person who's like, all the chat messages. But I stated my case. Qualm sends €2. Your loser video did well. Discussing revenue be $. I'll probably do some more videos on I'll have to do some updated balance sheet and financial situation videos in the future. Ben K sends $5. Here's $5 towards your rent. Thank you very much. I'm a very smart coder, which is why I'm homeless. Learn to code, bro. That's unfortunate if you're really in that situation. I know a lot of people are these days. It's a growing issue that I will never be quote unquote homeless, but there's definitely a person who's trying to steal my home right now. Why do you have the money goals? It was just a fun thing I set up. Excuse me. It was a fun thing I set up. I started at $1, and then I just kept doubling it each time. I just wanted to try and do a longer stream, just to get the experience. So here's the. I kind of thought that this series would end earlier, and I don't know. I'm probably at like a couple hours now or something. But I just for fun. So eventually it has to end. Otherwise, I'll be live streaming until I get like $10 billion in within a few weeks. Random idea. It'd be kind of fun to have if you structured this stream with some other mini tangents, like maybe a sudden discussion on Vim or crap or something. I apologize for this is really not a great stream. Honestly, I'm really surprised there's I got 76 concurrent viewers right now. That's still impressive for how the quality of the stream. I didn't have today. The last couple of days I was busy with some other stuff, and then of course I found out about the change in the hearing date. So I haven't. It was basically a photo finish. I was planning to start streaming way earlier and then prepare more for this, but I spent literally 4 hours getting the stream set up, which is, I mean, it sounds unbelievable, but the room behind me is like this massive mess of cables and stuff. I think, well, I don't like to promise things, but hopefully next stream I'm going to try. Well, if I actually, assuming that I actually meet the goal, this one, next one would be 1,000. So if I do that, and that'll I'm thinking that might end up being the last one. If I do that one, that'll probably be, I'll have to structure that a bit better. Otherwise, it's going to be too excruciating. We got a super chat, CHF5. What is this game about? And did you carry a bag for an elderly woman for me? Unfortunately, recently I have not carried any bags for any elderly women. Not in the last, probably not since the. I think I don't remember your name exactly, but I do remember at least a couple of comments about the carrying bags for elderly women. But I haven't carried any since then. But I have been in contact with some of the elderly people in this building. They're quite quite stressed out about all the hearing date has changed, which they made it sooner rather than later. So now everyone's kind of scrambling to figure out what's going on. So great stream. You're just going to have to learn how to scale these chats as your popularity grows. Yeah, it's. I'm glad that people like it. Maybe it's my. I mean, I started out as just to do it just because, but it seems like at least recently with the new surge in subscribers, there's a reasonable number of people in the concurrent people watching the stream. You've talked before about just moving to the USA. Can you actually do that? If you get an offer from a big tech company. So right after school, it was very easy. When I graduated, especially, it was very easy for anyone to just get a visa. You just get a job at one of these companies, and then they do all the visa stuff for you, no problem. Now I think it's a lot more difficult than that now. I'd like to see you stream deleting files on a Linux PC on root user until your computer breaks. That would be a decent thing to demo. I think I've actually seen a few people. I think there's a few videos on that exactly. So it's kind of a done thing that's been done. Lots of broke rich people go work at a bank. You'll see you make 6 figures, still have nothing to show for it if you don't know what you're doing. Not on your main computer. You can make janitor money and be a millionaire. It happens quite often. What do you do? What's your goal? What's the point of this? Why are we sponsoring or donating to you? So I do Linux command line based content, and this is just a fun thing I've been doing. I started at $1, and then I doubled the stream goal. I doubled the goal and to $2, and then I doubled it to $4. And so the super chat donations I'm soliciting from anyone who knows what my content is and likes the content and wants to see more of my Linux command line content. So anyone who's just and the money just goes to me to pay rent or whatever, living expenses. How far down the five trouble goal are we? So up in the if you look at the red text where it says do not donate, I will spend the money in a financially irresponsible way. Just above that, there's the chat revenue, which is at $230 right now. So it's about halfway there. Try the DD command. It's the shortest stream ever. I have actually tried just like using sudo dd, like dev u random, before on a running machine, and it went for quite a while, and eventually just kind of like totally messed up, and I think I started getting a bunch of like command not found things, and then it just totally froze. Do you know that Galaxy S5 phone was rooted because there was an exploit on the main branch Linux kernel? Thought it was interesting. Yeah. The number of security vulnerabilities that are found these days is incredible. You basically need to update constantly. Any tips for people think of start a self-employed firm if doing things like cybersecurity? That's a good question. I guess in my I'm not sure if you watched my 37-year-old broke loser video, but I think that would be, if you haven't watched that one, that would be a good one to know. But like what you can expect from bad clients. That's a thing that I think there's a lot of demand for, but at the same time, like I get spam things, but like people will do like, pen testing, automated testing stuff. So from a consumer's perspective, from a business that wants that, it's difficult to vet who you're working with. And I think there's a lot of people who want to do that kind of stuff, who will do like audits and stuff, but then I think a lot of that business ends up being captured by people who just do a really poor job. Like people who send these, like they run these tools, they just send out like an automated email. It says like, hey, you've got this, these problems in your website. But it's all like kind of, it's like a list of warnings or something, so it's not really actionable. Do you recommend any alternatives to Raspberry Pi, Beaglephone, Pine Board? No, I have not had an opportunity to. Oh man, what's that guy's name? Jeff Geerling. I think he has a YouTube video about like alternatives to the Raspberry Pi. It was a video about when the Raspberry Pi shortage was really bad. He started looking into alternatives, and he has I think a pretty good video on that. So that if you're really interested in that topic, that video will probably answer your questions pretty well. Oh yeah, I never heard about you. That's why I'm asking. Oh yeah, that's yeah. So I guess if you just stumbled upon the stream, then there's probably no reason to donate if you're have no idea. If you don't use Linux and you're not familiar with my videos or anything. I have a few videos that have been trending that are pretty popular. Status, change the color. Which color? I mean the lights or what's on the screen? Shorts on Linux content are excellent. I recommend them. It's an example of DD, but I dare not. Somebody will ultimately try a cut and paste. Yeah, I like to joke around and stuff, but I try to avoid the RF comments because you have to learn that for the first time. You can make a typo in TD and be fine. Just not one specific typo. Yeah. Don't swamp the destination and source. Any bot for trading crypto? I don't know. Is that a spam comment? Change the text color. Okay. see, you're asking, you want to check text color change. That's a reasonable question, but I don't know what you're talking about. A bot for trading crypto? What's your favorite Linux distribution and why? I would say I pretty much just use Ubuntu for everything. I've tried Arch and some of the other. I used Fedora when I needed to experiment with SE Linux and stuff, but Ubuntu just, it works for what I'm doing. And I would say a lot of people like to talk about their best Linux distribution and stuff, but in my opinion, it makes sense to pick a distribution that kind of already has the stuff you want on it. Nice recommendation, Jeff Gerling. Great channel for info. Yeah, he's got a huge number of subscribers, and he deserves them because he puts out way more content than I do. Somebody anonymous, whoever copies. This message is Silly Billy. Are there any other channels you recommend, folks? I don't know. I think there's quite a few that if you end up searching Linux, a lot of the ones that come up and get recommended are pretty good. I guess something that people have commented before is that a lot of the people who a lot of the stuff that you watch on YouTube is stuff that you're you'll watch stuff that's not necessarily your expertise. So you want to learn new information, so you watch kind of like random other stuff that's unrelated to your expertise. I mean, my channel, I try to keep it focused on, well, as much as I can, about technology, Linux command stuff, and of course recently the housing problems. But I don't know. I guess in terms of tech specifically, I'm drawing a blank at the moment. Actually, I'm gonna start losing my voice again. I gotta space out for a minute, mine some blocks, or I'm going to. I need I need a drink, and maybe I need to start cracking open some of my candy. I think your chat has been discovered. I mean by bots. Pop OS. Yeah, I keep hearing about Pop OS, but tiling. I guess that's like a window management feature. Yeah, I hear a lot about I think a lot of what people think is the distribution. People associate the distribution with the display and window manager, but personally, for me, the thing that makes technically, you can install any kind of window manager or desktop stuff on basically all the distributions. Although it's the reason to choose a distribution is because your favorite stuff is already installed. And for me, I don't really care too much about the the polish and the window aesthetics and stuff. It's when I pick a distribution, it's usually because of a specific thing that it supports. Like for example, with Raspberry Pis, you have to do Raspbian OS, or actually you can put Ubuntu now on a Raspberry Pi, and I've actually done that so I can manage an ZFS pool from a Raspberry Pi. Candy eating stream to raise money for the dentist. You caught me. Stampede Linux for the win. Never heard of it. We get another super chat from Multi Martex. €5. Good luck in your future endeavors. May success find us both. Yes, well said. And that's your first super chat on a live stream. Thank you very much. Do you get Haribo up there? I'm not sure what that is. Can we buy a membership with ETH or BTC? I don't really use any cryptocurrencies. I had Pop OS, but I didn't get any value out of it. Yeah, I've never tried it. All I know about it is I watched Linus Tech Tips, his video on trying to be a beginner and install Linux, and one of the first, he just did what Linux noob would do and Googled it, and then one of the first results was they recommended Pop OS, and he had a bad experience with it right away. If you don't care about polish, you should use DWM. The IX screener, I meant $5 to $10 profits. Let's see, is this one of those Dick screener? This looks like a spam kind of. Minimum rug pull requirements. Alpine Linux fits nicely on small devices. Posse is a fantastic YouTuber if you want someone building esoteric things for no real reason. Yeah, that's the best part of YouTube. People doing really random things very well. I can't stop thinking about your anecdote about the NVIDIA CEO telling you to take a picture together instead of just him. Something about that story won't let go. Yeah, I mean, at the time, I had my camera there. I was taking just pictures of everything, and I wanted to take a picture of him in his. He was in his house at the time. He has a really nice study area. I don't know if I have any pictures posted of that, but he had a really cool looking office, and I was like, oh, this would make for, it's very photogenic. But of course I'm glad I got the picture with him so I can prove it's not a lie. Just wondering if they have Haribo Candy. That name for candy, I think we probably do. I can't remember. That sounds familiar. I like my what is that? what is that? Angle. Look, the font's weird. Angle bracket under the if statement. Oh, with your brace. I kind of like to have them in terms of like brace matching and stuff. I kind of like to have it. I almost think of it if I'm taking the context-free grammar of the language and turning it on its side. That's usually how I like to think about it. I don't really like how sometimes people will take like 3 parameters and then do on the next line and then 3 parameters, and in my opinion, it's kind of hard to follow. No, I am not spam, bro. Come on. Well, I'll be watching. Typically, if you just want tiling window manager, you have to install a bare window manager and all programs yourself. Basically, Pop OS has already set up GNOME with their own thing, plugins and other changes. Yeah, that's really, in my opinion, the main reason to go with a specific distro. It's like you don't have to do all that screwing around yourself. Adam Lemires, $5, just contributing towards the goal. Thank you very much. And that's your first super chat on a live stream. Get a glass of water, man. I will do as requested. Sounds like you need some hot water to help your voice too. Yeah, let's see. Let me just check let me check how long I've been streaming. One hour and 57 minutes. Wow. Those are rookie numbers. I mean, the real streamers, they stream like 8 hours a day, like it's nothing. That's hard. The big streamers deserve their huge winnings for. I mean, it's a crazy amount of dedication to be like online all the time. Canadians drink beer. I try to avoid alcohol. It's not because I don't like it, but it's good. You have one, and then you'll be like, hey, that was good. Maybe I'll have another. But then, next thing you know, you're less productive. So it's also expensive, and comes with so many other problems. I've got to go. Good luck with preparing with the Ren Eviction hearing. Thank you very much. I will need it. I will need it. I'm starting to lose my voice. Earlier today, I installed Jellyfin server on Raspberry Pi for 400, and then watched Firefly from it. My ThinkPad from 2008, running Mint Linux. Really enjoyed it, even though I'm not proficient in Linux. Well, I don't know. You sound pretty proficient if you're doing that kind of stuff. Looking forward to your 12-hour streams, but the donation goal has become extreme. We'll see if I get there. I know this one. This one is starting to peter out. I think the novelty is starting to wear off. We're down to 51 viewers now. That's half of the peak from last time. I think you were up. It was up as high as 80 this stream. can never have just one either. Yeah, better to just abstain. Okay, let's mine some blocks. How long are you willing to stream for? That's a good question. I'm not sure. I haven't reached my limit yet, and that's kind of part of this little experiment. I'll just double the goal every time until it becomes insanely unrealistic. Was a heavy beer drinker till I was 17. Haven't really touched it since. Yeah, that's probably good. It's not the healthiest thing. Oh, we got a. Oh, that's your second super chat this stream. You were worth at least one large Seattle coffee. So here's a 10 USD. Wow, is a Seattle coffee $10 now? I don't think the novelty has worn off. But I'm driving. Oh, thank you very much. What are you using for a camera? It's a Sony A-Alpha 6100. That almost counts. Double CAD. Yeah, it is. It is almost at that point now. Wow. So we're just about we're just under the goal, or sorry, just under exactly half of the goal. Please be safe and don't text while driving. Yeah, I guess I'm not sure if you meant that you were driving while super chatting. I guess personally I don't. My consumption of streaming and stuff like that, I don't. I basically consume no YouTube at all on mobile devices. Oh, we got another super chatter. Just a watching too, sends $4. And that's your first super on a live stream. Thank you very much. It's interesting to see how the game looks for you. When I installed it, seems to run a little differently. Yeah, actually, there's a few things in it that are so it's actually using the default background colors. So I need to actually make it set an explicit color for the text. So like this text here, that's actually something I've manually set on for me. So if you run it, it'll just use the default color for you. The same thing as all the background here. What I should be doing is using a standardized ASCII color, and that's on my to-do list to actually add that, so that'll make it standardized between more standardized between what it is for everyone. I'm trying to watch the road, but this is so interesting. I don't know. I mean, I highly advise you to focus on piloting the vehicle without, watching watching our favorite streamer and driving is not a good idea. Favorite tech person: Stallman, Linus Gates, Elon. I don't know. There's a lot of good ones to choose from. I'm not sure if I even think about them as favorites. I think they're kind of like characters. I mean, Stallman is an interesting character. It's I'm glad that he exists, but he's there's lots of positive and negative qualities that I think you can see in basically all of those people. Elon Musk is a favorite person for people to either idolize or hate. But Elon's done a lot of really cool stuff. What YT channels do you like? Quite a few of them. And really, I guess it depends more on what you're interested in. If you had a Lightning address, I would send you some sats. The 30%. I kind of just I accept that Google, when Google wants to get their pound of flesh, and the thing is, all the people who are currently here in the stream, those people are here because Google put them here. So that means that if Google is getting some of that, getting their expected 30%, that probably optimizes the algorithm so that it figures out who actually really likes the stream. And there's also, I guess, I don't do any. I got out of cryptocurrency completely after all my remaining cryptocurrency accounts I got hacked. I was like, nah, this is not to me, this is not the future. Today I accidentally broke the lever off the main electrical disconnect for a building. Whoops. That's not good. The main electrical disconnect for a building. I guess the consequences of that depends on which position it broke off in. So was it when after the handle was broke, was it left in the on position or the connected or disconnected position? It broke off in the on position. That's I'd say that's worse. Yeah, I mean that seems like the kind of thing that should be designed to not break off. That's like the one most important thing. Actually, better medical building, which needs fridges running. Oh wow, okay. Yeah, I mean you got a good point. It's not worth the safety of you and others on the road. Yeah, that's in my immoral opinion of the world. I think if you want to do things that are dangerous for you, that's one thing. But if unfortunately the road is shared with other people, so you can be careless with yourself, but if you're careless with others, then you're making important decisions for others, which is not very nice for them. Green is my pepper. Wozniak, even though I don't like Hubble. Yeah, he's an interesting character. 210 sends SEK 50. That is, I guess I don't know the conversion. I think the last amount was 254. I think so. That must have been about 4 Canadian. I'm not sure if it's showing me the chat revenue after the Google's 30% cut or not. I think it might have changed tonight, but anyway, thank you for that. And that's first super on a live stream. 650 Canadians. Nice. And so we are officially beyond the halfway point. Yeah, I guess I should be able to talk more than a couple hours. Because when I was at the college, I had a few days where I was speaking all day for basically like 6 hours, and I remember I used to lose my voice after those days as well, because I think it was my teaching days were like 2 days in a row. Oh, we got another super chat. Fire alarm apprentice sends 5 Canadian. Thank you very much, and that's your first super chat on a live stream. Are you going to be a 24/7 live streamer at that point? I don't know. I guess if I go to some insane goal, like if I get up to if I get up to 1 million, then maybe. Yeah, next week's stream, if assuming that I actually meet the goal this week, then next week will be 1024, which is that's a pretty big number. Yeah, I'll definitely have to think more about it. Be a little bit more interesting. Plan out some content. 2048 and 4096 are going to be crazy. Yeah, if I get there, I don't know. Even this stream, the momentum is starting to die off. I think the we're up at like 88 or something at the start of the stream. Oh, Andrew Crystal, €5. Can you advise me which sites use for finding contract tech jobs? Thank you. And that's your first chat in the live stream. Personally, I did not use any sites for finding my good contract work. In my experience, all of the good quality contract work came from knowing people, and it all came from personal relationships. Now, like if I was to advise you on like what should you do, in fact, it's on near the top of my to-do list for a video that I should make for people, is I would say go through like your social contact list, like say Facebook, LinkedIn, or any other kinds of like networking thing, or even just like your it could be even other school lists or things like that, and go through, say, all the people you're connected to on LinkedIn, and just go through that list of like all, say, let's say you have 162 connections or something. Go through that list and think about that person for like 20 seconds. And there's probably like, I think what you'll find is there's a lot of people in your life that, they're just something about them that, they're more attractive or whatever. You think about them more than everyone else. And so those people kind of dominate your mind, or they show up in your feed a lot. But then there's a lot of other people in your life that you just, for whatever reason, there's nothing wrong with them. You don't think about them a lot. They just don't pop into your mind much. And you can, think about all those different people. And there's bound to be a few of those people who, like if you just randomly message them, then you will get, you'll be more likely to get a response, but also they might be interested in, connecting you with something. So you can just think about like, what is some way you can connect with them? So if there's someone who likely, so it really depends on if you're doing like if you want to be independent and do freelance work, or if you want to actually get a job. So you could go through that list of people that you think about for 20 seconds and just think what is some way you can have some meaningful interaction with them, and there will be bound to be a few of those people who are like, hey, I haven't talked to this person in a couple of years. I remember I worked with them in school and they were really cool, and I just haven't thought about them. And you can reach out to them and be like, hey, I'm looking for contract work or a tech job or something like that. Do you have any do you know of any opportunities? And some of those people may be bound to they may know something, but another thing that happens is when you message those people, they may message you back and say, I don't know of any opportunities. But then because you recently messaged them, within the next 3 days, they will happen to be talking to someone else in their network. And that person will be like, hey, I need, by chance, they will need someone. And because you messaged them several days ago, it's fresh in their minds. And so that's kind of where the hustle and, networking stuff like that comes up. Is like if you're always reminding everyone that you exist and you're available for this type of business, then that kind of it's almost like at least an LRU cache where you kind of move up in the cache in people's memory. And if a lot of people know that you're on the market for this kind of thing, that'll help you out. But of course, to answer your question specifically, there's of course all the the freelancer, elance sites. I'm not up to date with what's the best ones today. I mean, I know lots of people have recommended that you can get work done on Fiverr.com. I have no idea what it's like to actually do work on Fiverr.com, but I don't know. Have any of you in the chat, have you done Fiverr.com or freelancer sites as a developer? Fire alarms are interesting. I'm excited for 2 to 32. Ceiling birds. How come you never left Canada for the US? Are you afraid of moving to a place? I wanted to start a business, and I can't just move there. I can't just move there and start a business without a visa. I need sponsorship. You're going to stop at 2 to 10. We'll see what happens. That may be the time when I stop. They patched the CPU. Recording method. Can we get an updated video? It's on the to-do list. There's a lot of stuff. Robert has found the infinite money glitch. Don't limit him. I left Canada for work. 2x, and it came back. But that was before Canada was invaded. Yeah, things are a bit different here now. TaskRabbit for handyman jobs and word of mouth referrals. My attempts to freelance have come up against competing with worldwide talent pool, and now AI is taking over my specialty. Yeah, that's one of the other things that I kind of wonder about, for those sites, because I always had a negative. I always assumed the result that I get back is going to be really low quality, but now I kind of wonder am I just going to get back AI gibberish or something? So trust is a really important thing. Got to thanks. Still didn't walk through all the LinkedIn list. It's a really good idea. Yeah, I find it's also it's good just for keeping up your network, because I mean there's a few people that I went to school with, and I sat next to them and I talked to them every day in school. But then after I left, I just didn't really, I don't know, and the weird thing is there was nothing wrong with them, and I like talking to them, but for some reason they never pop into my mind. But there's certain other people that just do. And I think if that quality I think that quality can kind of be common to the person, where like they're the person that like no, it's not that anyone doesn't like them, it's just that nobody thinks to call them randomly. So this can be like a kind of high value person to network with because there's not like 1,000 people competing for their attention. Upwork is the best one for me. I've heard Fiverr's a race to the bottom. You compete with people in very low income countries. Yeah, that's been my perception for basically all of them. And I've heard it's like my perception has been that, you know, that fan spinning up. My perception has been that it's a race to the bottom on both ends, where like the most talented developers, the most talented developers and the most talented clients who actually pay, they get paired up and then they end up leaving the platform because it's like, why would you stay? You're going to try and take it off the platform so you don't have to pay platform fees, and then you can develop a closer relationship. But then if that happens, if all the good clients and the good workers and the good clients, they get matched, they all leave the platform, and who's going to stay there? It's the worst performers on both ends. I'll take a look on TaskRabbit. Lots of work here in BC. What financially irresponsible ways can you recommend to spend my paycheck this week? You can spend it on rent. I guess it depends. It depends how irresponsible you want to be. I would say you could make a very leveraged. You could make very high risk trades on like energy. That might be a good way to lose lots of money quickly. But then you might also make a lot of money. University was it tricky for you to connect with other CS majors? For some reason, it seems very difficult for me to relate to other CS majors. So I did software engineering, and I was very lucky in that the software engineering program at Waterloo was a cohort. So for the first like few years at least, it was like the same group of people in most of our classes, and that kind of like shared familiarity, and the fact that like we were all studying for the same courses meant that we could go to study sessions and then talk. We all had the same things in common, and that kind of shared circumstances actually made it more easy to develop the friendships, because of course you have to work and study all the time. Now some people just didn't have that, and I think if you don't have like a cohort system, if you're not, I mean, the natural way to connect with people and make friends is you have to go to a place on like some regular basis where the same people go there, and then just like kind of I find like going to networking events and just like shaking hands with everyone and like introducing yourself that's not how you develop the most close relationships. The most close relationships that I've had are all very organic. Like I sit next to someone in a class, and then I don't really talk to them, and then the next day I do talk to them, and then over time, just being physically around someone, that's I think that's how normal human relationships work. It's only been in the last 20-30 years that our society has changed, probably for the worse. I hadn't any relations with Fiverr and their freelance stuff. Always was working in product companies. Maximum outstaff teams. another 80-20 rule of sorts. Are you planning to go back to 9 to 5? Nope, never. One thing I've never heard talk about is the most impressive coding of coders you've personally witnessed, and why? Actually, I don't know if I'd. I could probably talk more about like just people I've seen who are like really good engineers, who can like solve a problem quite quickly, which is kind of equivalent to that. Out of the money call options on stock market. Tell me more, I'm listening. First buy the train, then you get all the women and men you can handle. That's how trains work. Quick question while I'm driving slowly. You shouldn't be driving and interacting with chat. How much does confidence affect entrepreneurial efforts? Results in small tech biz. I mean, you've got to be. There's different ways you could answer that. Like, you've definitely actually got to believe in the thing that you're doing. Like, if you fundamentally are questioning, like, am I good enough to do this or something like that, you might have days when you like sit in bed all day and don't even go out and try. So you've got to think it's actually possible. And then the other end is like, how much does confidence, how much does that affect your client relationships and stuff? I mean, obviously, like people, if you seem unconfident, that will affect the relationships. But it's also, for software people, it's kind of, I think it's kind of common like trope for a super genius computer programmer person to be like a shy, unconfident person or something. So you may even interact with people who think you're like shy, unconfident. Entrepreneurial thing is like you're a cute young entrepreneur or something. Like you could probably get away with that when you're young. To some degree, like on one aspect is confidence is like how much do you believe in yourself, and then the other aspect of confidence is the actual the assertiveness and conviction that you gain through experience. And if you don't have the experience, then you can never actually be confident to that level. Like there's, for example, there's like some of the critical comments I'm getting on that 37-year-old broke loser video. There's a bunch of those comments that I can confidently say like there's people that are telling me I'm wrong, but I really don't care about it, and I'm pretty sure they're wrong because I've had the experiences. Whereas if you're young, you could just be confident about it. But if you don't have the experience to back up that, then you're just kind of being like arrogant, I guess. Extreme loss, extreme gain, like gambling. Negative 3K loss. Capabilities with only 1K investment. We get another super chatter from Clayton Ford, $2. And that's your first super chat on a live stream. Thank you very much. So we're up to 269 now. So we're just over half the goal. I can see Google censor me in real time. Yeah, actually, I think I left it on Top Chat, which I think does the auto censoring. Good evening from Utah. Entrepreneur and software engineer, now a game engine developer and consultant. I regularly email my industry contacts just to give friendly hellos and ask what they're doing. It works. I have to turn down opportunities regularly. Yeah, I think that's that's a I consider that validation of what I said earlier, that a lot of the networking game, it's like networking is kind of like an LRU cache, at least recently used. So if you just talk to someone yesterday, you're way up high in the cache. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Thank you for the $2. What is your opinion on the glowies? You mean the law enforcement professionals? I would say, we need them. There's like some minority people who are like, oh, we need to get rid of all police and FBI and people like that. But I mean, at the same time, there's bad people out there, and I'm glad that there's someone keeping an eye on them. And as long as as long as our justice system continues to function, then as long as you're a well-behaved citizen, you won't have to worry about any of that stuff. How to train your dragon? You need some monsters chasing you in your game. Yeah, I do need. One of the things I had implemented is something on the server that can. It's actually a background thread that can like manipulate blocks and do things, but it's funny to see how you really talk. Yeah, I feel like I'm getting tired. I've been talking for almost 2.5 hours nonstop. If you watch my other more polished and edited videos, I'm a lot smoother. I guess that's why I edit them so much, because in person I make so many pauses and ums and stuff like that. I'm like, people don't want to watch this. So then I try to edit it to be super smooth. And then people are commenting like, this is AI. Nobody talks like this. Your vid got recommended to me. You a real one. Thank you for the kind words. Defund and freeze bank accounts. I guess hopefully not unless necessary. Do you have a video on that game? Yes, I do. On I think it's one of my last few videos. Bradley says, defund the police and fund Robert Elder software instead. Yeah, that would be. I mean, if I had the funding that the police get, then I could hire my own police. And that authenticity is important, valuable in person-to-person sense. I agree with that statement. Since you're focusing on YouTube now, have you considered leveraging your ability to geo arbitrage by temporarily living in a low-cost, high-quality of life country, like Spain, Thailand, etc. And at this point, it's not super in the cards. Like I have, I mean, stuff like this, like these, like streaming right now. I have like a room full of junk here. Like I've got the camera over there and the tripod, and there's like a mess of cables and stuff. It would be, I mean, I guess there are streamers that, in fact, some of the top streamers, they just have like an iPhone or something. So I guess technically it's possible, but I think for more technical stuff, it's not as doable. You know, for technology stuff, you need to have the technology. Like I have all these Raspberry Pis, and I got tons of connectors and things like that. And to be moving and nomadic all the time, it would be I think quite difficult to pull that off. Do you like hockey? I do not like hockey at all. Out of curiosity, what's the final goal of the game will be, or just a sandbox where you can mine for however long you want? I have many grandiose ideas for what I'd like to generalize in the game, but I guess I kind of don't even. Well, I have mentioned some of the ideas in. I have a dedicated video where I explain this game, or at least the current state of it. There is lots of stuff I'd like to add to it, but a lot of it is like, you know, grandiose things that I may never actually get around to. It may. We'll see if I get once I'm done dealing with Ren Eviction stuff. Then maybe I'll have more time to loop back on that. Do you have a court date for your Ren Eviction yet? So I had the eviction hearing was February 19th, but that hearing was canceled, and another hearing was put in its place that's sooner. So the 27th of January, I have it's called a case management hearing with like a whole bunch of other people. There's a whole bunch of people in the building who are all being evicted at once who have to go to that. Only 73 hours left to reach your goal. Hopefully it's not that much. That would take quite a while. I don't think I could make that 73 hours. I'm already losing my voice, and I've only been 2.5 hours. What would your ideal marginal tax bracket system look like, or tax system in general? Dollar income thresholds, marginal rates. I don't know. I don't really think too much about ideal tax bracket systems. I mean, from my perspective, as a person, as an earner, as a citizen, I want zero tax on everything. But of course, if you want to run a society, you have to look at you got to balance the tax incomes with what the spending of the government is. I mean, ideally, we just have less waste in the government, and then we could maybe lower all the taxes. But you may have to lower and raise them based on what the current deficits are to get the current budgets under control. Looking for any collaborators? Do you have any open source stuff? The source of this game is available, but it's not. I don't consider it open source. So at this time, not looking for any collaborators. So instead of a singular case, it's more of a class action style proceeding. They actually just learned about it a couple days ago. They just rescheduled this several days ago. It's called a case management hearing, and it's on the part of the Tenant Board because there's so many cases in the building. I guess they're going to have this like big meta case to figure out what cases they're going to do in the future or something. But I don't know. I still have to like research it and figure out how it's all going to go down. Okay, let's have another candy here. All right, we're gonna super chat here from Gyro Sepelli, Canadian 2318. That's a very specific number. What's your favorite way to get caffeine in? Are you into any legal weed? No, I don't partake in any of that stuff. Caffeine though, I do. Favorite way to get caffeine? I'd say just regular, just regular coffee. Instant coffee is I've kind of just gone the lazy way recently. Although I do kind of long for like artisan, get some artisan coffee maker. I do really appreciate stuff. I used to buy the coffee grinds, but it just ends up being too much work. And then I bought I remember I got a gift card from someone from Christmas. So I bought this a French press at the Bay with the gift card. It was a whole $50, and then it ended up rusting, which is why I think the Bay is kind of on its last legs. The quality of their products is going downhill. Home. How long before my wife asks about this? Well, I'm glad you made it to your destination safely. Holy crap. Diamonds. Yep, there's diamonds in the game now. I feel like keeping the chat going, but at the same time, giving your voice a rest. It's the name of nature of the game. just set up an espresso machine on my boat. Trying to dial that in. It's harder than it looks. Yeah, it's there's a whole I don't know. Coffee can get pretty complicated. I'm sure there's entire YouTube channels into like the different types of it and how exactly to make it and how to optimize it. The Bay should go back to trading beaver pelts. Yeah, they're I'm kind of surprised they're still in business. I think they're on borrowed time. Just make candy ASMR sounds and mind blocks for 5 silent minutes. We love it, I promise. All right. The Mario Bros says, love your videos, keep going. Thank you for the $5. And that's your first super on the live stream. When he says the Bay, we're talking about Hudson's Bay Company. Yeah, I think that's the same one. It's that kind of like retail giant store. The candy has to be crunchy. But I like my Tootsie Rolls. Not trying to tell you how to make a game, but it also needs cherry bombs. Yeah, the vision for the game is to make it so it can be like pretty generic and easily extended. But there's a lot of, it's basically a prototype at this point. I could keep talking about all the cool stuff I want to do with it, but I have to actually do it. Leave Tootsie Rolls out for a few months, like it get crunchy. I don't know, will they? I think they just get super hard. Can't believe it's still going. No, the colonization efforts had no idea that there was a department store now. Yeah, they're around. They have like tons of really overpriced things that it seems to be mostly like very wealthy seniors that shop there. Like you can go there and buy like expensive wine glasses and stuff for like $100 and oh, we got a super chat here. What's your view on micro SaaS? The idea seems good, but all of the examples I've seen just seem to be selling to other people in the same community. Micro SaaS. I've actually never heard that term before. Is that? So SaaS is in software as a service, but like on a smaller scale. Yeah, I've never actually heard the term before, to be honest. I mean, it also in order for it to be micro, it almost sounds like you'd have to do like microservices or something. So like you're selling access also to one very small feature. I guess it could work. I could see stuff like ChatGPT is probably something like that. It's like one very small primitive feature, but yeah, I'm not sure. I'd have to know more about. I'd have to look up that term and research it more. This is the first time I've heard of it. Is there a way to actually set a budget on AWS that will hard prevent charges from occurring past a certain point? That I know that's been a much requested feature for a long time. I'm not aware of them having done it, but that is a good. If anyone else knows, I'd be interested. If anyone knows whether it's definitely is or does or does not exist, I'd be interested to hear that. But last time I looked into this, I remember that was not a thing. Making my own company intranet. If you're familiar with C++, I think a tier list for STL features would be cool for each edition. Actually, I'm like totally out of the loop. I back when I was writing my C compiler, I spent a lot of time reading the standards and stuff for ANSI C and C90 and stuff. And it was kind of during that process. I think I started off with C++, and then I ended up learning a lot of C. And there's so much stuff to know that in C++ and so many like ambiguities, and personally I think like some of the newer standards for C are just like almost absurd. It's just like an exercise in inventing cool new features that don't really exist and making the language and the compiler more complicated. But yeah, I think there's merit. There's definitely merit in the idea of an STL features list, but it's not my expertise, honestly. I don't remember there ever being a way to set hard limit for AWS resource consumption. Yeah, my guess is it's probably difficult for them to implement on their end, so they probably just don't. Closing your AWS account is a sure bet. I guess that's one way, but then you don't get to use it. AWS does not want that. That's why budget management for cloud spend is its own cottage industry. I know I've often heard from like when people get compromised and stuff that they will actually refund. It's pretty common that if there's some like weird bug or something, like I know I've heard of people have like they had there was a link in a spreadsheet. It was in like a Google Doc. Someone had a Google Doc with a link to an S3 object, and it was like a giant, operating system image or something. And Google's stupid crawler would take that object that was in this spreadsheet and then try to request it like over and over and over again, but then it would fail, I think. So it would just keep trying to request it. So Google was basically DDoSing this one person by trying to request this one object over and over again, and it cost thousands of dollars. And I think AWS refunded that one. What about a net effect hard budget limit, like throttling cloud access to the point where they are making it effectively impossible to charge more than a certain amount in a given time? Yeah, I think they, like, it would be definitely a good feature. I know it's, I was of the understanding that I thought they improved some of the like rate limiting and stuff to be a bit better, but I know a lot of services do have built-in like limits that you can set on it, so the service itself will kind of shut off. Forgive my ignorance is the 512 for anything specific. So I started off with live streaming until I get $1 in super chats, and then I did $2, and then I did $4, and then I did $8, and I've just been doubling it every time. So it's just a silly goal I've set to try and get a power of 2 in super chat donations that I will use to fund candy and rent payments. You could create your own Lambda to monitor and shut down services after a limit. AWS won't do it for you. Yeah, that's probably what they're trying to do. Although it's, yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of it is like there's also like a kind of a delay in the billing system, because I think to actually bill you for something, it has to query a table and like do some calculation like once a day or something. So maybe that's why. Maybe that's why they it's just too hard to implement, probably. I'm getting lost in chat. Another problem is proving what you did actually works. Yeah, that's I mean, it would be a really nice feature to have. Love it. Thank you for explaining. Also, I see your recent video is doing really, really well. Has it skewed your finances substantially? Yes. Yeah, the answer is yes. I don't know if you can. I'm not sure if you can rewind. I think you can rewind the live stream on YouTube. But in the intro, I talked about the financial situation is so that video has made about at least 6,000 in revenue so far. So the immediate debt issue is resolved, and I have the revenue so far this month is enough to fund the living expenses. So I'm this month I will actually be cash flow positive. The one grain of rice on a chessboard. Yeah, that's basically what I'm doing. If I ever get a Russian sheep, I'm gonna name it Lambda. Lambda function. How do you even access stats about usage to trigger anything? How long are you willing to continue streaming max for any stream for this challenge? I guess projecting out the approximate rate, like for this one, it would seem like maybe 1 or 2 hours would be the amount of time it would take to reach the goal for this one. So I'll try that for tonight, but I think we're quickly approaching the end of the road for the powers of 2 live streaming. Do these marathon streams take away a lot of your available time motivation to make long form videos? Because that would be a shame. So far, it definitely has not. Well, I mean, this one is more time consuming. I had to spend quite a bit of time setting. I was traveling this morning, but I had to spend a bit of time setting up the streams today. But I mean, it's I guess if this one ends up being like 4 hours, then that's 4 hours of my day, which is up until now it's been a pretty small percent, but it could quickly become something that starts eating into my other time. But then, of course, like this series will definitely end. So what I'll probably do is I'll see if I can reach the goal tonight, and then I don't know if I'll reach the next one. And after that, I'll probably go back to like 1 hour streams on Saturday. And of course, I'm going to focus on more on the live content. Or, sorry, on the long form content for a while. And of course, there's all the crazy stuff going on in my life with the evictions, and hopefully, and of course that may actually change. So like if I get evicted by the end of the month or something, which I don't think I'll get evicted that soon, but something may change at the hearing that means I need to move or something. So we'll see what happens with that. Holy cow, 6K is amazing. Congrats. I've been doing videos for years, and I've never won the algorithm lotto. Yeah, that video was quite long, so it had a pretty high watch time. I mean, I also think, like, technically, you could say I did well on it. I made 6,000, but technically the amount of money, you could say, how much did it cost to make that video? It's just like sitting in front of a camera. So the video, actually, I spent quite a bit of time making that video. It was about a month to make that video. But the opportunity cost of making it, like the other thing I could have done is, gone to work at Amazon, gone to work at Nvidia. So the cost of making it, you could estimate it to be like, $1 to $5 million to not take the full-time offer and try to start your own business. So so the profit was, close to those negative 999,000 or 995,000 or so dollars, that or 94. 6K views on that. Very happy with you. Yeah, thank you very much. It's I wasn't sure. I'd hoped it would get a lot of views, but I was kind of preparing myself for the maybe get like 20 or 30,000 views. Just letting you know. Find your voice quite pleasant. Thank you very much. That's I'm glad that a lot of people find my voice pleasant. I guess that's really fortunate. There's a few people I've watched on YouTube that have like incredibly annoying voices, and if you can't change that. I think you're too young. I think you're too young, but maybe not. Do you remember when Linux coders were obsessed with naming everything after Greek mythology and Monty Python? I guess I'm probably too young. Yeah, Monty Python. I have seen some Monty Python, but never got quite into it. And Zen's SEK 100. Thank you very much. Up at 317 now. $1 million trawler sends $2. What thing do you enjoy the most each day? I guess it depends on the day. Some days there's really I mean, coffee's a pretty good thing to look forward to every day. What thing do I enjoy the most each day? I mean, the simple pleasures. Sometimes, if it's cold out and you come in and you can have a nice warm shower, that's pretty good too. Goldfish Leisure sends $1. Thank you very much, and that's your first super on a live stream. Some people put on a thing for their voice to be dramatic for YouTube. I instantly turn those off. I mean, like a voice change, or just kind of changing their annotation? How was chat rate calculated on your analytics bar at the bottom? I don't know. I know when I check the graph in the stream analytics afterward, it'll usually have like there'll be certain times when there's like a massive spike in the chat rate, and I don't know if it's I think it may be someone coming in like spamming or something, and then Google just like suppresses them all. I'm gonna lose my voice. Let me rest my vocal cords for a minute. Oh wow, we're past the goal. Hack Matrix, $200. All right, it's done. Check out my 3D Linux desktop environment. Wow. Wow, that's huge. So so I guess you're advertising your I think I might have clicked through your channel before. But yeah, so I guess check out Hack Matrix's 3D Linux desktop environment. Faith and humanity restored. I'm going to check out your environment as soon as possible. We made it till the end. I'll check it out too. It's on my channel. It's called Hack Matrix. Yeah, I mean that's a huge. Thank you for that. That's also on GitHub. Yeah, I said live streaming until, but I'll keep the chat. I mean, for that I can give you a bit of advertising. I'll just keep the stream on. We can. Currently spoofing multi-user networking, Arduino. Yeah. Do you have anything you want to say about it, Hack Matrix? What's your main selling feature? Nope, just love giving these special people. Well, thank you very much. That's incredibly generous, and that's of course that's US dollars, so we're much more valuable than Canadian dollars. Well, if you don't have any if you have any I guess cool things you want to mention about it, we can put that in because probably some people will watch the VOD and they'll want to know like what happened at the end. But if you want to sell it a bit to get some attention, maybe get some feedback on the project, feel free to mention it in the chat. And note says yo. All right, I guess I better. This 3D Linux thing is exactly the opposite of what I want my computer. Well, it sounds like an experimental thing. I'll have to check it out a bit more. I definitely, for $200, I'll definitely give it a look after this stream. Yes, can render any Linux window. There's Discord. Google Hack Matrix, and GH pots up. All right, well, I'll leave it there for tonight. We surpassed the goal. That was thank you very much, Hack Matrix. That was that really made the night go fast. I thought it was probably at another couple hours in it at that point, but anyway, that's the end of the stream. So I guess we'll be back next week, and hopefully that will be the last one. Yeah, see you next week, guys.